So good afternoon, everybody. I'm pleased to be joined here today by City Councilor Ian Kane. We're here to talk a little bit about what Councilor Kane had proposed in the form of resolve a couple of years ago, which the council did pass. And since that time, the council has been working with some of our team, particularly Chris Walker and some of the members of the administration, really talking about the future of fiber and the fiber network in the city of Quincy. I hear constantly from people about competition or lack of competition. Some related to cable, some related to slowness of access to get onto the fiber, onto the network. So this is something we're very serious about looking at. The city obviously is a good-sized city with a water department, sewer departments are in the utility business to some extent. And what this is going to open up, or does going to open up the process, if you will, for us to look seriously at building our own fiber network citywide. Now, this is the very beginning of a process. And we're asking people at this point, if you want to go online to survey it, and I think it's up on the screen there, www.quincyfiber.com. And when we do our census, come out in sometime in January, the city census that goes out by the city clerk, we're going to be including in that some questions, survey about the whole issue of fiber and access to fiber network. I don't want to mix that up with the federal census, by the way. That's going to come out next March of next year. Anytime I can give a plug for that, I should, because the numbers do matter when it comes to the federal census. It happens every 10 years. So we'll be talking more about that another date, but that'll be in March. So the city census comes out in January, and this survey will be included in this. So I'm looking forward to a very robust process going forward, bringing on board some outside consultants to study this. I believe it's being looked at in other communities. I'm not sure, Council, I'm sure you can answer it, if it has been done yet in other municipalities in the country. But so looking forward to work with Councilor Kane and the city team on this. And again, thank the councilor for really bringing this forward for us to look at as a community. So with that, Councilor Kane.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you to my colleagues in government for being here today, and I also want to thank my colleagues on the City Council who unanimously supported me when I introduced this resolution in February of 2018 to look into the city developing a municipal broadband network. This is really a constituent and resident-driven project, as the mayor alluded to in his remarks. There's something that we hear when we're out talking to residents and constituents all the time. It's when are we getting fiber? When are we going to get options? When are we going to get cheaper internet with better service? And unfortunately, the way that the model currently works is that large incumbents and companies own the infrastructure and they provide the service, which allows them to take advantage of you as the consumer and the customer. So what this project is really doing is separating the infrastructure from the services. So we're going to look at providing a city municipally owned utility in the form of fiber and broadband, and allowing for different companies, internet service providers, to compete on that network, which will allow for competition and eventually to bring the price down. So the goal would be to eventually provide residents in the city of Quincy with internet as low as $50 a month, which is something I think that everyone can get behind. As I said, in February of 2018, I put forward a resolution to the City Council that the city approved, and the mayor so kindly also accepted, and we started to look into this process of developing this project. Tonight, the mayor and myself will be introducing legislation that will implement a resolution as a policy for looking at broadband as an essential utility, just like electricity, just like water, just like any of the utilities that are provided to you on a daily basis, because this is really a part of the economy, and this is something that people should have access to. It is a differentiator in terms of access to jobs and to different resources. Having internet is now a part of our daily lives that we probably take for granted, but some people still don't have access to it in a cheap manner. So we look forward to putting that forward tonight. And it's also an innovation project for the city as we look at innovating our downtown through real estate developments and all the growth that we're seeing. This is a way to really have Quincy stand out in a way that other cities and towns aren't yet looking at. This is a way to put us up front. There was an article that was just put out in Fast Company magazine, and this is the same model that we're looking at, a town called Ammon, Idaho, the same consultants that we'll be working with going forward here. Ammon now has what's rated as the best internet in the country, and that's what we're looking at having here. So that being said, we're going to put forward a video that explains the concept of this project that we're working on. And again, I want to stress that www.quincyfiber.com is the place to go for more information, where you can take a survey, show us your interest, and ask any questions therein. And we look forward to making this initiative go forward for all the residents of Quincy. Thank you very much.
Broadband networks matter because we live in a digital economy. In the digital economy, many physical objects are getting connected to networks, sensors, and computers. In this new economy, cars become computers with wheels, farms become computers with soil, and airplanes become computers with wings. The information flowing from cars, airplanes, and farms becomes powerful through a connected global network. A business without a fast and reliable network can't participate effectively in the digital economy. A child who can't afford a reliable connection can't do homework. A community without robust network infrastructure can't attract the businesses or workers it wants, stifling economic growth. As a municipality, we must make it as easy as possible for people to participate in the digital economy. We do this by operating networks the same way we operate our roads. The municipality builds and maintains the roads and allows everyone to drive on those roads. The problem with our current broadband system is that large internet service providers control the digital roads and access to those roads. They use this control to block competition and keep prices inflated. We understand that broadband network infrastructure is essential to everyday life, and that open networks lead to innovation, increased competition, lower prices, and faster network speeds. We're making broadband infrastructure a public utility, just like your home's water, sewer, and power connections. But we will not compete with the private sector by providing internet services over this infrastructure. No one will be forced to participate in the municipal fiber network. Residents and businesses who don't want it can opt out. Those who participate will select from a list of ISPs and internet plans based upon their needs. But here's the best part. Subscribers can switch providers and plans in less than 60 seconds, as easy as shopping online. By providing the digital infrastructure as a utility and creating real competition between ISPs, our goal is to drive down the total cost for internet access by at least 30%. And here's the best part. Once the physical infrastructure is paid off, that portion of the overall cost goes away, lowering your monthly internet bill by an additional 30 to 40%. In addition to lower internet costs, the network will facilitate additional services in the areas of healthcare, education, public safety, emergency communications, and many other applications that will drive economic growth, benefiting everyone in our community. We are creating a new digital marketplace for the private sector, an expansion of the digital economy. Any private sector company can participate, compete, and innovate in this new municipal marketplace. Our goal is to transform internet access from a system designed for the benefit of the large corporations who control these networks to a system designed for the benefit of consumers.
At this time, happy to answer any questions that people might have.
What kind of timeline are you looking for this study, or how long before a shovel goes in the ground?
I think it'll be at least a year plus before we look at even a shovel going in the ground, and that's conceivably. I think there's a considerable, probably 6 months or so, that would go into looking at a feasibility and strategy. Before then, we're really trying to gauge interest from the public, which would be a component of how we factor the financing, because this will be considered the way in which it finances off the subscribers that would join, right? So we're not going to look into developing the entire city, but we'll look into which sectors are more interested first, and then based on their interest, basically it's financed into each of their, over the life of the project. Let's say it's a 20 or 22-year project, it would be financed on a monthly rate based on that.
So you roll it out neighborhood by neighborhood, basically?
Yes.
And you'd build the system and then let the ISPs rent space on it, or?
That is correct.
Are there certain ISPs that do this in other communities?
There will be multiple ISPs that do this in other communities, but it's more that there are other municipalities that run municipally owned networks, like Braintree has their own operation. There are Power and Light, like Fitchburg has their own, which they probably offer their own broadband, but anyone that has their own backbone can allow for multiple ISPs to participate on that line.
And is there any idea how much it might cost to roll out all that new fiber?
I don't have an estimate on that yet, especially if we're going to be looking at it through phased approach.
Any estimate on how much the study will cost?
I think the study will be nominal. That's probably what I can give you at this time. We haven't formally engaged a group yet, but there is a group who is currently at the forefront of working with municipalities to roll out this type of technology. And they're called Entry Point Networks, and we have already started to work with them on a no-cost basis to this point.
About how many complaints do you get about, there's only one provider in Quincy of cable and broadband service?
A lot, yeah. I mean, especially, just thinking about now's campaign season, but even 4 years, I've been hearing this for 5 years, requests on when is X company going to develop fiber. And I'm not even going to name the companies because they're not offering anything else. But they've been slow to make a commitment to a place like Quincy while they've been rolling out fiber networks in other cities and towns. So this is a good opportunity for us to get in front of that and to take control of the situation.
And is there anything in the city's agreement with Comcast that would prevent the city from doing this?
Not to my knowledge.
I don't believe so.
Yeah.
Comcast is a user on the poles. So if we're going to develop this, the deal would be with the utility, really, which is the electric company, and the electric company basically owns the poles with the phone company, but they have certain arrangements in each of the communities. So we'd be dealing directly with them, not with the cable company. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you for being here,
Thank you,
everyone.
Councilor.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor.